Okay, guys, so you're ready to sell your house. Part of selling your house is going to be marketing, getting as many people as interested in your house as possible. But the other part is going to be once they get to your house, getting them out of the car to come inside and take a look. And that's where this video comes in. We're going to talk about 4 things that help improve the curb appeal of your house and make sure that people want to actually come inside and take a closer look. And stay tuned for number 4 because it might be a little bit of a surprise to you. Hi guys, I'm Chris, your real estate problem solver. And if you're interested in anything with real estate in the Middle Georgia area, make sure to look us up. All our contact information is in the description box below. Now let's get into the video. Okay guys, so the first thing that you're going to do to improve your curb appeal, number 1, of course, no surprise, is going to be take care of the low-hanging fruit first. If you have dead branches or if you have piles of leaves, rake them up, remove all the dead branches. If the trees around your house have any dead branches, go ahead and trim them off. If you have any dead trees, make sure to cut them down and get them removed. Anything that doesn't look good or doesn't look like it belongs, go ahead and remove it and clean up the yard as best you can. If you have any fences that are falling down or just don't look good or have any loose boards, go ahead and get them replaced. That's an easy and simple fix that can go ahead and make your yard look much better just in that simple little task right there. Mow the grass. Okay, so mowing the grass, trimming all the edges, and that means the sidewalks, driveways, and the curb itself, all are going to help make your house more attractive. Now, if you have a habit of mowing your grass maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and you know that and you're going to know you're going to be selling the house here pretty soon, you might want to go ahead and get started. Reason being is because when grass gets tall, the green usually is at the tops where the sun is, and if you cut down below that, all you're going to end up with is a yard full of brown. So go ahead, as soon as you know that you're going to be selling the house, go ahead and trim it down and start trimming it down to as low as you can. If you can get it down that low, it's going to look nasty to start with, but as it starts to grow back, it's going to green up, it's going to look better, and then you'll still have a nice lush lawn that is also short and green. Now the next part is going to be the shrubs and trees. Now of course trees, there's not really a whole lot you can do with those. If you've got some younger, smaller trees in the yard that are manageable and you can go out and prune them up a little bit. If it's a dogwood, make it look like a dogwood. If it's a cedar tree, make it look like a cedar tree. Make it look like a Christmas tree. But there are certain trees that are supposed to look a certain way, and you can look at pictures and see what kind of tree it is and what it's supposed to look like. If it doesn't look that way, if it looks kind of leggy, it looks kind of scraggly, make sure to trim off those extra branches that just make it look unappealing, especially if they're head high or below where people want to walk around the yard and there's branches in the way. Go ahead and trim them up and get them out of the way so it makes it a nice area for people to walk through. And again, try to do this as soon as possible so the tree has time to regrow and adjust to the new training that you've just given it. Now, once you've got the grass mowed, the trees are trimmed, now you can concentrate on the shrubbery around the house. First thing to do is with shrubbery, you want to trim the shrubbery away from the house. Tree branches and shrubbery, both in the wind, are going to shake around. And if they're touching the house, they're touching the roof, they're touching the walls, they're going to leave scratch marks, they're going to leave ruts in the shingle siding or the metal roofing or in the even the brick. You can end up leaving wear marks in the brick. So you want to trim all that back and make sure that it's not touching the walls. Make sure there's a little bit of an air gap between the brush, the shrubbery, and the house. That way it breathes and it helps keep the house dry and it also keeps from wearing marks on the house and making it look bad. Now once you've got the shrubbery pulled away from the house itself and trimmed up, now give everything a good hefty cutting around and give it some shape to it so it looks like it's a professional job, looks like it's been taken care of before. Now if you've got time, like 3 to 6 months, then it's really good to give it a hefty trim back. That way it's got time to come back out, bush back out, and look really nice. Okay, so now number 3 is going to be the plants and the mulch. Now, a lot of people, when they've been living in a house for a long time, they get busy, they get in their daily lives, and they don't pay attention to their yard nearly as much. Take a look outside, act like a buyer. Look at the house. If you've got a lot of green shrubs and brown grass, or green grass or brown shrubs, or if you just got 1 or 2 colors in the yard, might not be very appealing. So this might be a time where it might be worth to spend a little bit of money and go buy something that's got some color. If it's in the springtime, you've got laundry list of choices to choose from. You've got yellow forsythia, you've got flowering quince, which is a red bush. You've got flowering dogwoods, which can be pink or white. That's a tree. You've got annuals. You've got plenty of annuals that you can choose from. But whatever is going to be in season for the next 3 or 4 months, pick a few things out and add them to the planters, add them to the under the bushes, and give the house a little bit of color. It doesn't take much to add a little bit of color accent to the house, just enough to kind of make the house pop a little bit and give it a little bit more attraction. Yes, it might be a couple $100 to add some pansies or some impatiens or some monkey grass around the edges of the house, but it'll be worth it when the offers come in are a few $1,000s more than what you were expecting. Now, as for mulching the house, usually that's not very difficult. One little trick that I like to use is as you're mowing the grass, you're cutting up grass clippings, you're cutting up leaves, rake those up and put them underneath there and use that as your mulch. That helps keep the weeds down. If you've already got weeds, then of course you're going to have to pull out the sprayer and use a weed killer. But once you do that, adding those grass clippings and adding that cut up leaves into the bedding areas will help keep the weeds down even longer, and it'll help fluff up the beds and make them kind of look good. Now, buying mulch can get expensive, but if you buy pine needles in the bundles, those can also get expensive if you have to use a lot of it to fluff up the yard. But if you've already done that with the leaves and the grass clippings and what you've already have around the house, then you don't have to buy nearly as much in the pine needles, and you can just use that as a top layer just to make it look good, and that'll help build up your yard bed and make your curb appeal look much more appealing to your buyers. Now, number 4, the final point that I was waiting on that you might be surprised about is, of course, the yard looks good, the curb appeal looks good, but people also raise their eyes to the roof. Washing the roof is part of the curb appeal. When they pull up, they're looking at the whole house as a whole. They're looking at the yard, they're looking at the house windows and doors, and they're looking at the roof. So make sure to, if you can, if you've got a little bit older roof, or if you've got a roof that's got some of the dark streaks coming down, it might be worth it to take some not a pressure washer, because that'll hurt shingles, but take a garden hose and lightly wash the roof and see if you can get the some of the dirt, some of the pine needles. That is really bad when you've got leaves and pine needles and debris on your roof. Number one, that hurts your roof and ages it faster. Second of all, it's unsightly when you're trying to sell the house. So make sure to go up and clean all the debris off the top of your roof, and make sure that all that debris doesn't get settled into your gutters. So make sure that the roof is clean, make sure that the gutters are clean. That's number 4 that people look at that a lot of sellers don't think about. Well, I hope this video was helpful to you. And again, like I said, if you want to learn any more about this or any part of real estate in the Middle Georgia area, I'm Chris, your real estate problem solver. Our contact's in the information below, and I'll talk to you on the next video.